Welcome back to Oathbound Gaming. Today we're taking a look at a game called Wall of Insanity. This is an indie shooter survival horror type of game. First thing we're going to do is we're going to jump into settings. Current difficulty hard, language, we have gamepad options here. You can play with a controller if you want. Look sensitivity, aim sensitivity. Tutorial, we have our graphic options. Flashlight shadows. Shader, resolution. Resolution I think is always kind of weird to have as a slider bar without actually telling you what your resolution is. I think it's a little strange. Okay, it's really strange. That's kind of odd. And we have our volume. We don't have the ability to change any keybinds here. But we're going to get started here. We're going to jump into the opening cinematic. We won't play the whole thing, but the opening cinematic plays a little bit like almost like the old Blair Witch Project type of thing, where you see it from a first-person perspective like that, and it's fuzzy and hazy, but it's a cool touch, right? I like it. For an indie cinematic, that's not that bad. That's pretty damn good. This team is searching, obviously a highly trained, military-esque group of soldiers. Looking into some place. I like this part. The distant gunshots. That sounds cool, right? It's a nice touch. When we first get started, we're going to investigate that house that the other unit has already investigated and pretty much died, you assume, got wiped out. So we're part of Cobalt unit, and we're going to go into this house. And I'll skip ahead a little bit as we get a little further in. I just wanted to see the beginning.
The Cobalt unit has arrived.
Voice acting is it's all right. It's acceptable. Not great, not horrible. But right off the bat, starting the game off, my first problem was, wow, this guy takes up a large amount of the screen, right? And there's still no option to change settings, to change controls. So that was a problem. Can't change that. I can't change FOV, and this guy's taking up like 40% of the screen. It's pretty big, right? So I really would have liked to see an FOV option. Hopefully we get that, and then an option to change key bindings. In addition to that, the shadows look a little odd, right? Like a little hazy-ish. We have this guy here who just... That guy's been training, yo. He just kicked the crap out of that barricade. That thing stood no chance.
Mike, cover me. I'm heading upstairs. Hudson, check the room.
I'm on it.
I'm on it.
Roger that.
So we have our pistol, our shotgun, and a knife, which we can use to break stuff. So shotgun, pistol, knife. And there's some document. They probably found one of the missing children. Testimony, blah, 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 blah. So they're trying to find some missing kids. Loot a key. Run around. Open the door. And this is what our inventory looks like right now. This is where the key would be, but I just used it, and then like med kits, stuff like that. Grenades. That good stuff. So we roam through here, and we're gonna break these boxes. And we're gonna come across this dude who was definitely not fortunate, not lucky at all.
Found a body in the basement. It's an officer from the first group.
Poor dude.
Do not copy. I can't hear you. Repeat.
Voice acting's not bad, right? I think it's alright. It's pretty good. Our first little mini jump scare. But things get a little wacky, right? A little odd here. A little fantasy-esque. The corpse is gone. Just gonna zoom through this because I know where I'm going. There's some ammo there. Ah! Those are the Krepplers. And that's not their official name. I made that up. It's the Krepplers. Little Kreps. There's another one right there. I see you. I see you back there. Oh no, that's the legs. Never mind. The legs off the one I already shot. There's some loot hidden around if you search, so it's good to break boxes. There's nothing in that one, but you'll find some hidden loot, ammo, stuff like that. There's like some optional paths where you can get some, you might find a new weapon or something like that. Reload. Little bastard hit me. That's one of their spawners, and if you don't take that out, they just keep spawning. But when you do take it out, you get a burst of the little Kreps like that, little Krepplers. But alright, you get the basics, right? We're gonna jump ahead. Let's go. The environments in this game are not just your normal human mansion building. You will find some strange environments. And at the end of this cave, you might chuckle like I did when you see the things. We're not gonna talk about that though, right? Well, these are the things I was talking about. They remind me of the Half-Life 2 type of little things. You know the things, you approach them, they go in the ground in Half-Life 2? And they come back when you walk away? That's what I was talking about. Definitely nothing else. Alright, enough of that, let's go. The game also has a fair variety in weapons. Nothing crazy, but they're there. Your SMG style guns, they're here. You're a shotgun type of player? They're here. And we also have our handgun, which I will try to pick up. There we go. Handgun feels good to shoot, but it's not as strong as some of the other weapons, such as the SMG. There's also a decent variety in the enemies you'll face. There's these tentacle-like aliens, which want to close the gap and melee you. We're not gonna let them, right? And then, I know there's this kind of wizard type of caster alien guy. Just gotta be careful of him. And of course, we have our little creepy crawly dudes. Can't have a horror game without something crawling on the ground, right? Ow! Success. One of the sections of the game has you searching for a demon genie type of enemy, and it's kind of interesting. It's pretty cool. There's a hide and seek type of thing going on where you're trying to find. You ever play one of those games where like players can turn into like objects, normal everyday objects in a room, and you need to try to find out like what item's out of place? There it is, right there. When you find it, he scurries away. You need to do that a few times to defeat this boss event. But I won't spoil the rest of this fight for you. One of the bugs I ran into is an inventory space bug. So through the game, you get inventory expanding items. It's like a kind of like a belt satchel type of thing, like a fanny pack almost, right? But a more military-esque one, cooler. So that adds a third slot. And you see here I have 2 slots with a third open, right? So I should be able to pick up this medkit. At the bottom there, you can see inventory is full. Well, I'm going to show you it's not just a medkit on the floor. There's a lockpick over here as well. So when I go over this lockpick, you'll see inventory is full, even though there's a slot open. But if I drop an item, I will then be able to pick this up. Now, I picked up the lockpick, but the third slot is still there, and I can't loot my big medkit. Inventory is still full. So that's one of the bugs I ran into. I wanted to share that because that's a pretty damning bug, especially if that's going to be throughout the game as you expand your inventory. You'd only be able to have the first 2 that was originally provided to the character. I hope this is a bug that is addressed. Let's move on. So one last thing that kind of irked me a little bit was this shotgun reload. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot 1 round. Now, watch the reload time. That's to put a single shell in. Now watch this. it'll take the same amount of time to reload a completely empty shotgun as it will take to load just a single shell in there. That kind of bothers me because if you guys know shotguns at all, each shell is going to be manually loaded into at least this type of shotgun. And that just kind of irks me a little bit, kind of bothers me, kind of got me killed and hit more often than I should have. At least I feel I should have. I'm a good player, alright? Alright, let's move on to our final portion of the video. The pros, cons, and final thoughts for Wall of Insanity. Fun gameplay. Gunplay. Gunplay gameplay. Same thing, really. It feels good to shoot. The game feels fun to play. And that's the most important part, right? It's fun. I had a good time playing it, and I'll definitely put some more time in it, especially if we get some more updates. We'll get to the cons section with some stuff I think needs to be addressed in updates. A large variety in enemies. The enemies were quite vast. A lot more enemies than I expected to see. There's some difficult ones, there's caster ones, there's ones that throw spears at you, the melee ones, the creepy crawler dudes, more big hulking dudes, bosses. There's a fair variety. Fair amount of weapons as well. It's not as quite as vast as the enemies are, but there's an SMG, there's a handgun, shotgun, 2 shotguns that I know about, there's the Magnum, there's a lot of weapons that you will find if you play the game through and explore. You'll find them. The game is priced fairly. That's probably one of the most important things, actually. At $6.99 USD, I normally don't talk about prices. I really don't. Because obviously what's expensive to me might be cheap to you or vice versa. And I normally don't talk about it, but I think that is a fair price. Like normally people will see games like this priced at like 10 or higher, 15 or higher, something like that, which at $15, I think that's a little too pricey. But for $7, it launched with a 10% discount for $6.29, and again, that's USD. So that's pretty fair. That's not bad at all. And the voice acting isn't too bad. Not bad. Reasonable for an indie game like this. I actually expected a lot worse. Cons: no FOV setting, and it's bad. Normally, some games have like no FOV setting, but it's acceptable. It's like okay, the game's not that bad, especially like a first-person view. It's not so bad sometimes. But this one's particularly bad because your character takes up like 40% of the screen. It's bad. And I think that this is why it's at the top of the cons list. That's the one thing I would add. If you could add anything from this cons list, that FOV setting. We need that. And then no keybind options. Can't change your controls. Like Q is to change your weapons, to swap through your weapons, which that's just a little weird to me. I want the option to change some keybinds, and like it's not in the cons list, but there's also no crouch. I would have liked to see a way to crouch, but that's so minor. It's like whatever. The game's not built around it. That's fine. But keybind options, I would have loved to see that. And the shadows, I showed you guys, they can be a bit fuzzy and like hazy looking. They don't look great, even on the highest graphics. Like that's the one thing. Like the graphics are decent in this game, but that's the one thing that's like, oh, that looks a little dirty. I would clean up the shadows a bit if they do that in future updates. That's something I would address. And then the inventory item bug. That's a pretty severe bug, guys. I showed that during the video, and that's got to get fixed. That's bad. That's real bad. Like it'll make you stop playing midway through because you don't have room to carry everything. And you go out of your way to search and try to find these inventory, these hidden inventory upgrades, secrets, and you get them, and then they bug out. Hope to see that fixed. And then no Steam Cloud nor Steam achievements. I like my Steam achievements. I like hunting for them. I definitely like Steam Cloud because I play on multiple computers. I'll play on this one. I'll hop over to that one. Maybe the Steam Deck ends up in my hands at some time soon. Hurry up. And we want Steam Cloud, right? Final thoughts. Wall of Insanity is a pretty decent indie game. The graphics aren't top of the line, but they aren't bad either. The gameplay is fun enough to keep me playing. That's a typo. Keep me playing until the end. However, the con section really hurts the quality of the game. With some future patches that addresses the FOV, keybinds, and bugs, we have ourselves a quality indie survival horror shooter. And it's not listed as survival horror, but I consider it one. It's kind of survival horror. So guys, I hope you liked this video, and if you did, throw us a sub. Scroll down, well, maybe maybe take it out of full screen if you're watching full screen. Hit that little sub button. Always appreciate that. And follow our curator page on Steam. That'll be linked below. And Discord. Join us. And thank you very much for watching, as always. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Skip it!